Right, we're going to start with Baddha Konasana. So take your blanket. So let me tell you, I've got 2 blankets. I've got a foam pad, some foam pads for shoulder stand, and a belt and a block and a chair. Okay, we're starting with Baddha Konasana. Why? Because it's a really nice way to bring a little bit of energy into the body. I'm going to have the block and I'm going to have the belt as well. So if you can see, I've got this folded here. I've got a second blanket for my head. So that comes up onto there. And then with your belt, you're just going to use that to allow your feet to be held as you come into your Baddha Konasana. There's a gap. Okay? So this is instead of sitting at the beginning of the session. Instead we're doing Baddha Konasana to bring ourselves into the practice. So you're just going to lie down, making sure the blanket is coming underneath the back of the chest. Okay? You can then just hold the feet and just draw those feet in. You might want to wriggle just in a little bit, but make sure if you're wriggling in that the buttock flesh is still releasing away from the lower back. If you've got a blanket underneath the back of your head, pull it in so it's supporting right up into where the shoulders meet the neck. And then I want you to interlace your fingers, push your palms away, and as long as your armpits and shoulders allow, bring the hands up over the head so the back of the hand touches just below the crown of the head and rests on the blanket or the support you have for your head. Now make sure your head isn't tipping back. Let the breath come into the lungs. Let the abdominal area relax and let your armpit chest open. If this is too much on your shoulders, just release your hands down. All you have to do here now is breathe and just let gravity do its job. Internally, you may want to just rebalance the weight on your buttocks, on the back of the sacrum. Make sure that you're not overloading one side or the other. Let the arms release away from the armpits. Allow the fingers to be what's keeping the hands held, so there's no tension going from the shoulders back to the hands. Let the eyeballs release back. Allow the breath to feel wide. Turn the palms down onto the head. Change the order of the digits, so change the interlace. So you've got the other thumb on the top and the other baby finger on the bottom. Turn the hands back around and place them on the top of the head again. So not on your forehead, that's kind of being misunderstood. It's just behind the crown of the head. Check that your groins are still happy with your Baddha Konasana shape. Notice if you're holding any grips on one side of the pose or the other. Couple more breaths here. And then release the hands down, rest them on your belly, and just breathe into your belly. So I like to make a little heart shape with my hands, and I put that around my navel just so that I can, through the symbol of gesture, I can tell my belly that I do love it. I do love you, belly. You're awesome. Relax the face, soften the eyes, relax the skin. The skin is everywhere. and then release the hands. Place your hands at the back of the thigh, and then you're going to roll the feet down towards the floor, pressurize your hands to draw the legs together. So you're not using the lower back to bring the legs together. And then separate the feet so they just come off the foam pad and let the knees flop in. It's summer, there's helicopters, there's motorbikes, seagulls, everything. And sunshine. Okay, so from here, now you've rested, I like to bring my feet together and I roll the body as one unit to the side. So you roll over to your right, support the head, let the spine settle again, and then up you come. So you should be feeling a little bit more energized. And if you weren't needing it, you should be feeling even more energized. So here now, if you can't sit on your heels for Adho Mukha Virasana, take your foam pad, put it between your heels and your bum. Okay, and then know that really you don't want your head lower than your bottom because we're not diving down into the earth. But if you can sit on your heels, that's marvelous. And then you can move your blankets off. Have the knees evenly apart, so just check that the thighs, the top of the thighs are doing the same thing, that the knees are doing the same thing, and then go forwards, Adho Mukha Virasana. Long arms, both sides of the waist long, tailbone lengthening away from the crown of the head. And breathe towards the back of your body. Let the head rest to the floor onto a brick if that's required. Feel that deep fold that you've got in and around the hips. And then walk your hands back, sit up. And come to cross legs. Sit yourself up on a foam pad. Okay, so if you have a chair, you can bring the chair in front of you. You don't want to be lifting the chair. If they're light chairs, then that's great. If it's a heavy chair, please get up and move it carefully. And then with your crossed legs, move your buttock flesh back. And then stretch the arms forwards. Relax the knees down. And if you find that that doesn't feel like you're lengthening forwards enough, you can then move the chair further away or move it to one side. And go forwards like so. And rest your head maybe onto a block or just let the head hang. And then walk the hands back, come back up, sit tall, and change across with the legs. Let yourself lengthen. Again, you might want to go to the chair, first of all, find out how you're doing. So I just walked my chair across. And go forwards. Lengthen forwards. If you feel like you can go further down, I've got 2 bars on this chair. I can reach to that bar. Getting a nice length, both sides of the spine. And if you want to go all the way down to the floor,
You can take yourself down, but know that if your bottom's up on a foam pad, you don't want to have your head dropping down lower than your bum. Walk your hands back.
And come back up to sitting. We've got Baddha Konasana. So I actually do like to use Baddha Konasana. Do Baddha Konasana against a chair because it gives my upper back just a little bit of support. So I'm going to bring usually I'm against a wall, but today I'm just here. So if you've got a wall to put your chair against, and if you want a little bit of softness so it's not hard on the back of your body, take your blanket, okay, and just place that soft blanket here. So it's really interesting actually, sitting here on my own talking to you guys, because the way I do it at home, you know, doing my practice, like, oh, when I'm teaching now, I stand up and I move the blanket, so maybe I should do a little bit more like that. So I brought my feet into Baddha Konasana, and then you can put your hands onto the chair, and you can use the chair back to allow the upper chest to kind of open out, but using that chair back to support the back chest. And with that, you should find that actually the groins feel a little more free than if you're just trying to sit up straight. So I put my hands onto the chair and I'm pressing down with those arms, and I'm opening my upper armpit chest. And because the elbows can't sort of squeeze in too far, it means that the shoulder blades can locate themselves onto the ribs, the back ribs. Lengthen both sides of the neck, lift the skin from the pubis up to the navel. Make sure that the inner bowl of the pelvis is also contained, so it doesn't feel like it's falling out. And then breathe. And if this happens to be too much for your legs or for your knees, then you can sit up on the chair. Let me show you. You can sit up on the chair and you can make a little bit of a height. So if you've got a bolster is perfect. If you haven't got a height, then like a bolster, a couple of blankets or some pillows or something, and you can sit like this and then take your Baddha Konasana. I've just realised, if you don't know what Baddha Konasana is, if I do it this way, can you see? This is still the same height. I've got to make sure it's in the centre, but then the soles of the feet come like that. So I think summer school yogas call it the goddess pose. You can see this is all beautifully open here. Another way I like to practice it is you can put the blanket on the back of the chair like this, so you've got a little bit of softness. So it's not going to disturb your vertebrae. And then sitting up on the chair, sit back on the chair, and then you can bring your feet up. And then you can use your hands to press down onto the chair and open the chest this way. So this is option number 3. And if you're now tired, should we bring the legs together? There's so many options. There's like, how many stars are there in the sky? And you look and you see more and more and more. Right, we're going to do tree pose. We're going to do tree pose using the chair so that we're concentrating more on the standing legs. So if you'd like to come and stand up and stand to the right side of your chair and just have your feet together, have your legs together. I'm going to bring the chair a little bit further forwards so my feet stay warm. Okay, spread out through the toes, grip the hips. Now, often what happens is this hip goes out when we try and lift this leg up. So put your left hand onto your hip, put your hand onto the chair, raise your right leg up, turn it out from the hip and place it on the chair. So you want to have the sole of the foot making good contact, and you want the standing leg to be predominantly feeling the strongest, and this one just making good contact on the chair. You can stretch the arms out and then you can raise the arms up. Lift up. Now again, lengthen from the pubic area up to the navel. Breathe. And then lower the arms down, hand onto the chair, release the leg. Walk around to the other side. and stand next to chair in Tadasana. So the feet are together, toes are lengthening forwards, inner ankles are together, inner knees are together, inner thighs, inner hips, outer hips. My hand is on the chair. Standing next strong, press that right hip in, raise the left leg up, turn from the root of the thigh, gently place the foot onto the chair. Okay, make sure that the sole of the foot again is making good contact, the arch is lifted, outer hip hitting in. Stretch out through the arms, turn the palms up and raise the arms up. Elbows to fingers, lengthen. Breathe. Relax the eyes and release the tongue. Lower the arms down, hand to the chair, standing leg in, bring the legs back to Tadasana. Stand tall. Okay, so now we're going to use the chair for balance. Oh, we can stay on this. You want to stay on this side? Yes, we do. Sorry, I'm thinking. You're going to pick up, so you can either go back to the other side and put your foot on the chair if that's what's required, or use the chair for balance. We're not leaning on the chair because the chair might fall over. We're just putting the hand there so we know where it is, we know where we are. If you're very wobbly, put the chair in against the wall. Otherwise, hip in, raise your right leg up, bring the foot to the top of the thigh, toes down. Press the foot in against the thigh. Raise the arms up and stretch out your right arm. As you stretch out the right arm, taking it out to the side, combine that movement with the opening of the groins. Keep the buttock flesh moving away from the lower back and lift the skin at the pubic area up towards the belly button. If you want to take the arm up, turn from the root of the shoulder and then raise the arm up, lengthen. If you've got your balance, you want to take both arms up, you can do so. But this is really quite nice. Lower the arms down, release the leg. Let's go around to the other side. So swap round, whichever side you're on. Stand in Tadasana, my hand is still on the chair. Lifting up through the spine. Pick up your left leg, bring the foot to the top of the thigh. Hip in. Knee turning, or inner groin to inner knee. Raise out your left arm. As you bring that left arm out to the side, take that bent knee out at the same time without pivoting on your standing hip, standing leg. Turn the palm up, turn from the root of the shoulder and raise the arms up, arm up, lengthen. Have the right shoulder blade into the back, left arm up, left shoulder blade also into the back. So really start to almost search around your body with your inner gaze. And then lower the arms down, release the leg and come back to standing. Grip the legs together, stretch the arms down. We've got Uttanasana next, so we're still going to use the chair. I'm going to get rid of those blankets. We're going to do half Uttanasana, and that involves being the body in a right angle with the hands going straight down below the shoulders. So you're going to stand in front of the chair, have the feet hip distance apart, the pressure even on the front and back of the feet, going from the hips. Exhale, fold forwards, place your fingertips to the chair, draw the arms away and make your body come to a almost right angle. If you feel like the chair is too high and you want to rest on your hands, place the hands down, but make sure you're not collapsing into them, you're still lengthening the body. Have a look at your knees, check that your knees are level. Feel whether the hips feel level. Maybe even get a friend to have a look, seeing if one of your legs looks further back than the other at the top of the thigh. Lengthen the spine. So once you've looked at your legs and you've checked that they're doing the best they can, shoulders away from the ears and lengthen the spine. And if you get that right, the organic body, the soft body, your stomach, lower abdomen area, will naturally draw back without you needing to suck it in.
And the spine will feel beautifully long and breath will be wide and smooth. And then step forwards to come up. Reach the arms down. So this is Tadasana again. Okay, we go back to Ardha. So what we're going to do next is we're going to bring the hands down, we're going to step back. This time step further back to open out the armpits. Have the hands stretching forwards. Hang on, the hands stretching forwards. Take the hips back, but also press the hands down and notice how that moves the elbows away from the floor. Now if this feels very comfortable on your body and your hamstrings aren't complaining, the legs feel beautifully firm and you want to release the hands down to the floor, just reach down with one arm and see if the fingers will reach. Reach down with the other arm, see if the other hand can reach. If that's comfortable, you're fine. If it feels uncomfortable, you can just walk the hands back to the chair, step in and stand up. Okay, and then hands onto the chair, step forwards and come up. Reach down through the arms. A couple of breaths. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into the pose again. I should have tied my hair up. A little bit deeper into the pose again. There we go, hair now tied up. Fold from the hips, place your hands down. Step back. Reach back, so you're making your body like in Adho Mukha Virasana. Reach the hips back, give yourself good space. Really good space on the front face of the body, thighs back, hands down to the floor, fingertips, or you stay there reaching back with your hips and come up when you're ready. Okay, from here, draw up the inner thighs. Lift them up strongly, keep the legs working strongly and then fold down. You can then rest the hands so the palms are facing up if they reach and the back of the neck relaxes. Relax the eyes, release the tongue, breathe. Keep the legs working. Keep the face passive, have the eyes soft. Walk the hands forwards, reach the arms forwards onto the chair, step forwards, a good step. Make sure the legs are well connected, press down into the feet, come up, keeping the body long. Extend down through the arms, breathe. Okay, one more time. So this time we're going to raise the arms up and over the head. Raise the arms up and get a good stretch. Lift. Feel the length that you've just created on the front face of your body. Exhale, fold. Place your hands to the chair. Step back. You're looking for that same length on the front face of your body. So feel that. Press the hands down really strongly and let those elbows resist. Okay, keep that. Make sure the legs are feeling nice and strong. Powerful. Take the hips away from the hands so you can feel the thighs doing the action, and then those of you that can, release the hands down to the floor. Inhale, look forwards, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, fold down from the hips. Release the hands down, this time hands down, palms facing the floor if you wish, fingers forwards, thighs up. Let your body hang down. Back of the neck long. Breathe. Release the sides of the neck. Relax the crown of the head. Inhale, look forwards, walk the hands forwards. Shoulders away from the ears, place your hands to the chair. Reach forwards, look forwards, power the buttocks forwards to step forwards. And then you can stand up, raise the arms up, stretch up, Get a really nice lift through the front of the body there. And then lower the arms down. Reach down through the arms, lift up through the chest. Okay, we got dog pose next. So let's move the chair out the way. So you're going to do it in a similar fashion. You're going to raise the arms up, stretch up, lift and lengthen. You're going to exhale, fold. Now if you need to bend your knees, bend the knees. Inhale, look forwards. Take a large step back. 1. Second large step back. 2. Reach back the hips. So get the legs to work like they just did in your Uttanasana. Relax the head down. Open up through those armpits. Press those hands down and feel the resistance in the elbows. So none of what I'll call your undercarriage is collapsing to the floor. The undercarriage is supporting the upper carriage, the overcarriage. And then bend the knees, bring the big toes together, reach back, rest back, relax the head. Let the arms release. Okay, Adho Mukha Svanasana again, dog head down. Lengthen. Walk your hands back, Uttanasana. Feet on the floor. If you need to bend your legs, bend the legs. We're going back up to standing. We're at the back edge of our mats. So inhale, come up. Reach the arms up. And exhale, lower the arms down. Okay, so now your feet are well planted on your mat. This time we're going to try and keep the feet down. And we're going to lengthen the body forwards. So raise the arms up, stretch up. Exhale, fold. Bending the knees if you need to. Now keep the legs where they are, keep the feet where they are, and reach forwards. So walk your hands forwards into your dog head down. Trying to keep those heels moving towards the floor. It doesn't matter if they come off a bit, but you'll feel that that's a different action in your pose now. Or you might feel, it may not be. Explore how long you can allow your spine to feel. How strong you can allow your arms to feel. Okay, look forwards. Step forwards with the leg that you stepped back with secondly. So I've stepped forwards with one foot, step forwards with the other foot, lengthen. And then either bend the knees or keep the legs straight. Inhale, come up. Raise the arms over the head. Stretch up. And lower the arms down. Okay, so now we're going to step back with the opposite leg. So we're doing exactly the same thing again. Raise the arms up. Stretch up. Exhale, go down from the hips. Inhale, look forwards. Now you're going to take a large step back. So if you first of all step back with your left leg, you'll step back with your right leg next, or vice versa. So I'm going to take the weight into my left leg, reach back with my right leg, take a large step back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, and lengthen back. Breathe. Remember, press the hands down, elbows away from the floor, undercarriage supporting the overcarriage. Legs firm. One more breath. And then bend the knees. big toes together, knees apart. Stretch back. Armpits open. Come up, dog head down. Walk your hands back to your feet. Letting those legs, the back of the legs, lengthen more and more. Let the hands touch the floor. If you can get the palms to face up, backs the hands down at the back of the neck, release down. Walk the hands forwards. Make good contact with your fingers on the floor. Let your legs bend if you need to. Alright, you're going to come up from the hips. So raise the arms up. Stretch up. Pubic area, skin towards the belly button. And lower the arms down. Raise the arms up, stretch up. Lift and lengthen. So you're lengthening almost from the ankles right through to the baby fingers. Exhale, fold forwards, Uttanasana. Lengthen, widen, come into your forward bend. Just let the body hang down just for a moment. But really feel that the top of the thighs are pressing back. Now keep the connection of the legs all pressing away. So moving, front of the leg moving to the back of the leg. Okay, and then walk your hands forwards. Try and start with the opposite hand if you can. So the whole time we're trying to change our patterns of thinking, patterns of movement. Keep the body young and fresh, youthful in thought. Breathe. So the last time I stepped back with my right leg for the first movement, so I'm going to step initially with my left leg forwards to come back to standing. So get a nice length of spine, look forwards, step one leg forwards, make sure that foot is comfortable, bring the other leg to join it, lengthen forwards, exhale, fold down, connect down into the feet, make the thighs beautifully strong, raise the arms up, stretch up, lift and lengthen, and then exhale, lower the arms down, release the arms down. We're going to do Gomukhasana just to give the shoulders just a little bit of a rest. So a little bit of movement there. So I've turned my back to you. You're going to take your right arm up the back. So again, get nice space in the shoulder, keep space on this side of the ribs, the right side of the ribs, and bring the arm up behind you. Take your left arm up, reach it up, and then bring the hand in. And then release the left arm up, release the right arm down, bring the arms back to Tadasana. Now bring the left arm up your back. You can encourage it in with your elbow by grabbing the elbow if you wish. Right arm up, legs firm, and hold. Breathe. Release the right arm up, release the left arm down, and lower the arms down. So we're going to do it simultaneously. So I'm going to raise my arms up. Right arm is coming up my back, left arm is coming down my back. It's a diagonal stretch. And then the second side. And then release. Okay, we've got Prasarita Padottanasana next. I'm having my back to you again. Okay, so the back of the legs open broad. If you need height, what I'd like you to do, hang on, if you need height, what I'd like you to do is have your chair in the centre of your mat. Okay, so you'll go forwards to the chair. So you can put your hands on the chair. You can step your legs wide to the back edge of your mat. And then you can either keep the hands there on the chair seat. I don't know whether you probably can't see that. I will show you from the other side in a minute. You can rest your elbows on the chair seat. Still the legs are nice and broad, legs are working. Bend the elbows, rest your head on the seat. Okay? I shall turn it this way so you can see again. So you step your legs wide. Okay, keep the legs firm. Hands on the chair seat. This is for those of you with the tighter hamstrings. Elbows on the seat. You can turn them in like that. Hands on the seat, rest your head down. You might find with the head resting down, you might be able to reach the floor, you might not. But this should feel very comfortable, very pleasant. When it's time to come up, hands back up onto the chair, heel and toe the feet in towards each other, bring the legs together, and up you come. So you can bend the legs to come up. So I'm going to move that to one side now. So you're here, the legs are apart, and can you see that I've got my heels on the back edge of the mat? Basically, it tells me then that I'm straight, or straighter than I would be if I was just willy-nilly in the middle somewhere. Check that my hips are also in line with my ankles, so I'm doing that. I'm using my eyes, and then I'm feeling in my body. Now my hips doing the same thing. Do my hip joints feel the same? Hip rim, pelvic rim feel the same? Lift up, exhale, fold forwards. Hands come to the floor, fingers facing forwards. Now, here, there's two ways of doing it. You can have the hands directly below your shoulders, or if you want to give your arms more of a stretch, walk those hands back. And that will stretch the wrists. Fingers pointing directly forwards. Now, when you go to come into the pose, watch my elbows. My elbows stay in. They don't do this. Often you see people's elbows doing this or their hands are very wide. The elbows draw straight back, head comes down. Shoulders away from the ears. Widen out through the back of the thighs. Breathe. You can tuck the head in a little bit further if you feel like you're not getting maximum release down, or you're finding it very easy. If you want to increase the work, if you've got a long body and shorter legs, then you can always heel and toe the feet in just a little bit more, just to give the body just that little bit of extra challenge there. Inhale, come up, walk the hands forwards. Heel and toe the feet in towards each other. When you get to a place where you feel like you're ready to stand up, you can bend the legs or come up with straight legs if your back allows. If your legs allow, reach the arms down. Okay, so now grab your belt. Lie down. Put your belt onto your left foot and take that left leg away and keep the right leg strong. Now take the feet apart just a little bit, and you want to again feel like the tailbone is going towards the heels and that lower buttock is lengthening away from the lower back. Keep that action. Your lower back will be in a soft neutral curve. And now raise that left leg up, keeping the right leg strong from the front of the leg and the back of the leg. Now keep that lower leg strong, keep the upper leg, the raised leg open, and then exhale and start to draw the leg over towards you without losing the work in that lower leg. Feel the width of the back of the thigh over a sense of sensation in the top of the hamstring. So for the hamstrings to open beautifully, you need the thigh to work strongly.
And then release that leg down, so you can take the belt off and lower the leg down straight. And then compare the two legs, and hopefully that left leg is going to feel just a little bit more energized, maybe a little bit longer than the other leg. Now connect again into that lower buttock, connect through the spine and make sure the buttock flesh is moving away from the lower back, and place that right foot into the belt. Extend into the heel, thighs pressed down, spine in a neutral shape, and then raise that right leg up. Nice length. Shoulders relaxed. Really think again about the length through the back of the leg. Toes spread. Breathe. And then lower the leg down. You can remove the belt and release. Rest your hands on your hips. Bend up both legs. Roll to your side, up you get. Have a look. Right, we're doing shoulder stand. Now I haven't got the proper foam pads. What I have is what I call my mega blocks. And my mega blocks are similar, but they're the same height as a block and a half. And they're actually wrong size gig seats. So you need 4 foam pads. Please excuse my mega blocks. All right. So we're doing halasana. So if you've never done a shoulder stand, I recommend that you just go and lie down with your legs up the wall. If you have done shoulder stand, you're very welcome. If your neck allows and your back and hamstrings allow, to carry on. But also, if you've never done it, I would get a teacher to show you into it a few times to begin with. Now, if you've got tight hamstrings, we're going to use a chair. We're going to use a chair 2 ways, because we're going to do halasana and we're going to do paschimottanasana. So I'll show you the chair one quickly first, and then I'll show you what we're doing without the chair. And so you're going to just try paschimottanasana to begin with. So that's the forward fold. So the chair is here. Your legs will come sitting on your platform. All right, knees facing up. Have the feet just slightly apart. I'm not nervous, there's only seagulls flying over me. And then you can reach your hands onto the chair back, up the chair, making sure that you're getting a nice sense of lift on the front face of the body. You can rest your hands like so, okay? Or you can rest your head onto your hands, onto your arms. Okay, just see how that feels, see how the body's responding, seeing if you're able to still get lift out of the hips. Okay, and then inhale, come up. If you find that you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can always move that chair forwards. So now, you want to know that your feet are going to reach the chair, and you also want to know that you're going to be comfortable there. So I would thoroughly recommend just kind of being in the center, because here you know how long your legs are. So you can see this is roughly where my bottom will be when I'm in my halasana. Yeah, I've got a bit of a gap back. Usually you'll have the 4 foam pads. You'll notice you have 2 foam pads behind you. You'll be on the sort of 2/3 of the front of the other foam pads. And so when you go into your halasana, your feet will land about there, knowing that you can walk them a little bit to there, all right? We're not using a belt. You got your block to help you get up, because otherwise you've got to get up and over that as well. You can use your hands, and you're going to lie down. Make sure that you've got enough room to roll over your shoulders, that you're not going to push yourself off your block. Check that the chair is there, see if you can reach the chair legs. You're going to press down with your hands. You're going to do a little half backward roll to take your feet onto the chair. That's it. Okay, tuck the shoulders under and just work the legs here. Walk your feet a little bit further back. If it feels like your chair is a little too close, come down, move the chair back, away from you. Okay? You can then interlace the fingers and you can hold, or you can put your hands onto the back of your body. When it's time to come down, release the hands. You can either press down to support the back, or you can put your hands on your back. If this is newish to you, hands on the back, support yourself as you roll down. Okay, you can take the block out, wriggle down, and then you put the block, which is actually surprisingly comfortable, underneath the back of your head, and you rest with the arms out either side of the proppage, either side of your blocks. Okay, so that's how you're going to do it with the chair. When it's time to get up, you can then roll to your side and up you get. Without the chair, block stays in the same place, chair is moved. And the first thing you can do is you can just sit on the front edge of your foam pads. I don't know why I'm facing this way, because it makes sense to face that way. And then come down. In fact, come down, lift and lengthen, fold down, and I'm just resting my head here. I don't know whether you can see, on the purple brick that I'll be using to lift up on in a minute. You can use any other colour brick. Just see how the back feels, see how the legs feel, notice where the stiffness is being held. And then press into your hands, inhale, lift up. Okay, so look what I've done. So I'm going to go that way into my halasana this time. So I'm rolling down. Organising myself. So I'm going to press down with my hands, roll up and over. Feet come over my head, toes away, shoulders away from my ears, and you can support your back with your hands. If you're still now if you've gone into your chair pose, go to the chair. I'd use your hands on your back if you're on the chair still. If you're with the feet down and it's comfortable, interlace the fingers and stretch the arms away, pressing the arms down, walking the feet away. Change the interlace, stretch the arms away again. And then you can put your hands to support the back. Keep the legs nice and strong, knees facing the floor. Relax the throat. Thighs firm. The longer you stay, the more you'll realise how much the legs need to work. Keep thighs rolling from inside out so the knees stay facing down. Couple more breaths. And then walk the feet in, support the back, and then come down slowly. Okay, lift up the hips, wriggle off the platform, and place the block underneath the back of your head. And take some breaths. Now you can repeat that several times. B.K.S. Iyengar says, I think it's in Lengthen Yoga, that to improve your Paschimottanasana, halasana is one of the keys. I don't think it's in those exact words, and vice versa. So Paschima is the west side of the body. That's the back-facing side of your body. So before we take Shavasana, you can try one more Paschimottanasana. So roll to your side, sit up, come back, sitting exactly the way you were before. Legs forwards.
sit tall, adjust your buttocks, adjust your buttock flesh, and then exhale, fold. And just see if it feels a little easier to go forwards. Relax the shoulders, relax the head. It should feel nice and soothed from the plough pose, halasana. And then from this forward bend should quieten the mind. Do it to the chair if you need to do it to the chair. Walk the hands back, inhale, come up. And we've got that everybody loves, Shavasana. Saying that everybody loves it, it took me years to fall in love with Shavasana. And still, sometimes I struggle with softening down and just being there for a while. So if that's you as well, you're not the only one. When you lie down for your Shavasana, if your back is feeling at all tired, grab your chair, stand up and grab your chair. To here, you can then rest the legs on the chair seat. Okay, let yourself come down, adjust the back of the body and pull in your blanket. Rest your head, hands on your belly. Let the head rest back. Okay? If you feel perfectly fine and you'd like to lie in full Shavasana, if there's an element of doubt, this is the recommended, or I would recommend, if I have an element of doubt, this is what I do. Okay, I have my backs and my calves on the chair. If I'm perfectly fine, then you don't need the chair. Because we use props, but it's not to, it's to enhance, not to rely upon, if that makes sense. It's for safety, but it's also to improve, but also we don't want to become dependent on them. Now make sure that you're in a straight line, because we've done, Iyengar Yoga is very much about knowing where you are in space and getting yourself to be in your body, but also with the structure of the body being as correct for you as possible. So it's about no discomfort, but it's also about learning where you are in space. So this is quite methodical. Let the arms release to the sides of the body. Let the upper lid completely soften to the lower lid. Relax through the cheeks. Soften the tongue. And breathe. On your next exhale, bend the elbows, rest the hands on the abdomen. Rolling the thighs in one at a time, bend up the legs.
And just let the back soften, let the breath soften, let the face soften. If you've got your legs on the chair, just keep the legs so now the feet are towards the edge of the chair. That'll bring a different length to the back of the body. Stretching the muscles at the back waist. And then moving your body as a whole unit. Okay, so your pelvis, your waist, your spine, your shoulders. You're going to raise your right arm up, place it by your right ear. Yeah, and then you're going to exhale, walk the feet so the feet are together, and then roll onto your right hip, roll onto your right shoulder at the same time. So you're not shifting around on the pelvis. Relax there, and then look at the floor. Press down with your left hand, lift yourself up. Comfortable way to sit. You can sit back on the chair if you wish. Rest the hands. Lengthen the spine. Relax the shoulders. 2 or 3 breaths here. Or more if you want to stay. Lifting the heart center, bow the head down, pay your respects. Open the eyes and raise the face. Thank you.